Yeah. Yeah. Turn me up a little. Whoa. Yeah. Walking, I am calm, but the message loud. No circus talk, I do not play for crowd. I do not chase clicks, I chase clarity. Truth with the rhythm that is therapy. Yeah. 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 Turn me up a little. Whoa. Yeah. Walking, I am calm, but the message loud. No circus talk, I do not play for crowd. I do not chase clicks, I chase clarity. Truth with the rhythm that is therapy. If it feel heavy, that is how it lands. Real life questions in the palm of your hand. We talk love, we talk pain, we talk pride, we talk what folks hide when they outside. This that head nod, mind open, say it straight, no fine print. If it hit you, do not rush, let it sit, let it sink in. Chew on that. Real talk, real issue, where the truth stay at. No smoke, no mirrors, just the facts. If it spark that thought, bring it back. You need to digest this. Chew on that. You need to digest it. Chew on that. Everybody gotta take, I gotta land. I ask one question, then I ask again. What you believe and why you believe it? Who fed it to you? Did you ever read it? We do not do beef, we do not do hate, we do not do fake peace just to feel safe. We dig in deep, then we pull it up. Turn hard conversations into grown love. Breathe. Let it play. If it cut you, it can heal the same. If you're ready for the work, let me see you stand. If you're ready for the truth, put your heart in your hands. Oh, chew on that. Real talk, real issue, where the truth stay at. No smoke, no mirrors, just a fact. If it spark that thought, bring it back. You need to digest this. Chew on that, on that. Yeah, you need to digest it. Chew on that. Chew on that. Yeah. This is true on that. Real talk, real issues. You need to digest this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You know who it is, what I do, and how I do it. Welcome to the Chew on That show, where we do not just talk, we think, we challenge, we build. And today, I want to deal with a word that most people use, but very, very few people actually understand it. You know, I got to get y'all to think. You know, it's a part of me to get you to think. Think upon these things. Listen. Today's topic: respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Re-spect. But today, I do not want to deal with it in a casual way that everyone just throws it around, uses that word. I do not want to deal with it as a demand, right? I do not want to deal with it as an ego language. I want to break it open, break it down, so that we can dissect it, so that we could chew on it. Because if you listen carefully, there's something buried inside the word respect, right? R-E and then S-P-E-C-T, right? Re means to do again. Spect means to look Oh, we're going to dive deep today. Y'all going to hate me today. So when we look at the etymology of the word respect, right? Re and inspect. At its root, it's not just giving honor, right? It's learning how to look again, how to look deeper, how to regard something rightly, right? So today, we are talking about the power of looking again, looking at yourself, looking at your relationships, looking at your friendships, looking again at your work life, looking again at the patterns that you keep calling bad luck, looking again at the disruptions you keep blaming on other people. Because here's the truth. Most people do not want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. A disruptor is rarely just a problem. Most of the time, a disruptor is a signal that we need to pay attention to. I'm talking already. Y'all not even paying attention. Listen. A disruptor is rarely just a problem. Most of the time, a disruptor is a signal that something deeper is off. It's a signal that something hidden is demanding to be seen. It's a signal that what you built cannot carry what is coming. And if you do not understand the signal, you will attack the messenger. You will attack the interruption. You will attack the person. You will attack the season. You will attack the event. You will attack all of these things, but all the while, the real issue remains untouched. So today, we're going to deep dive into the word respect. Today is about learning how to read your disruptors, how to see patterns, and how to stop personalizing what is actually a diagnostic. Oh, man, let me say that again. We are going to deep dive today so that we can learn how to read disruptors. We can learn how to see patterns, and we can stop personalizing what is actually diagnostic, and how to survive seasons of disruption by building principles over personality mindset. We have to survive these seasons of disruption by building principles over personality mindset. Because if your whole life is built on a personality, then every disruptor will feel like a personal attack. I know some of y'all felt that. I know it. If you're listening, I don't know if you in your car, in your home, at your job, but if you can, oh man, take this note down real quick. I want you to write this down. Have I built the life on a personality that every time a disruptor or a disruption comes, it feels like a personal attack, right? But if your life is built on principle, then disruption becomes information. It becomes revelation. It becomes instruction, and it becomes an awakening. And that is what we're going to be diving into today. And that's what it's all about. RESPECT. Let's respect, or in the words of Mr. Randy Chu, let's look again. Now, let's dive into the segments. Respect is not just a feeling. It actually should be a reevaluation. Most people think that respect means admiration. They think it means agreement. They think it means politeness. They think it means to treat me like I matter. And all of those ideas touch the edge of it, but they do not get to the root of it, right? Respect in a deeper sense is the willingness, the willingness to look again, to pause your first reaction, to interrupt your ego's immediate interpretation. Oh my God. Let me say that one again. To interrupt your ego's immediate interpretation. To refuse your shallow conclusions and to observe with greater honesty. Because your first look is often emotional. Your first look is often wounded. Your first look is often biased by past pain. Your first look is often filtered through fear, pride, insecurity, habit, or even projection. So what does it mean to respect reality? It means to relook at reality, to say, maybe I thought this was. So what does it mean to respect reality? It means to relook at reality, to say, maybe I thought this is not what it is. Let me say that again. So what does it mean to respect reality? It means to relook at reality, to say, maybe what I thought this is not what it is. Maybe what I called betrayal is exposure. Maybe what I called hatred is correction. Maybe what I called misfortune is disruption. Maybe what I called a problem is actually an invitation to wake up. Sometimes our problems is the very invitation we prayed and begged for enlightenment. See, many people don't want this type of truth. They want comfort. And anything that interrupts comfort gets labeled as negative. Anything that interrupts our routines get labeled as toxic. And anything that interrupts our self-image gets labeled as disrespect. But what if the very thing that disrupted you was the very thing that is actually trying to save you? Listen. What if the argument revealed a pattern? What if the layoff exposed dependency? What if the betrayal uncovered your blindness? What if a failed friendship exposed your inability to set boundaries? What if conflict showed you that charisma has been leading your life instead of principle? Oh man, this is why Re-Spect matters, because your healing is often hidden in your second look. Your wisdom is often hidden in your second look. Your maturity is often hidden in your second look. A child reacts, a fool assumes, an ego defends, but a mature person looks again. So let's dive a little bit deeper. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing the disruptor with the disease. They think the thing that shook them is the whole problem. But very often the disruptor is not the root issue. Let me say that again. Very often the disruptor or the disruption that you're feeling is not even the root issue. It is the revealer. It is the signal flare. It is the alarm, right? If your car dashboard lights up, the light is not the main problem. The light is telling you there's a deeper issue under the hood. But a lot of people live life trying to smash the dashboard light that they forget, or they just don't want to inspect the engine. That is how people handle relationships, jobs, family patterns, and inner conflict. A person challenges you, and instead of asking why that challenge unsettled me so deeply, you decide that the person that challenged you is the problem. A job becomes unbearable. And instead of examining whether you have built a life around false security, you decide the company is the whole problem. A friend disappoints you. And instead of asking why you ignored obvious signs for so long, you reduce the whole story to their failure. Now, hear me clearly. Listen, hear me clearly. Sometimes the external thing really is unhealthy. See, this ain't one-sided. Sometimes the relationship actually is toxic. Sometimes the workplace is an exploitative thing, right? Sometimes the friend is really disloyal. Sometimes the environment is just freaking broken, bro. Like, we just got to deal with it. But even then, the deeper question remains. What in me failed to recognize the pattern, respond to the signal, or honor the truth sooner, right? Again, this is not self-blame. This is self-governance. This is not shame. This is responsibility. Because if every disruptor only ever someone Because if every disruptor is only ever someone else's fault, then you learn nothing. You repeat everything. You change faces. Oh, man. But you keep the same patterns. You change locations, but you keep the same blindness. You change jobs, but you keep the same emotional habits. You can even change partners, but keep the same unhealed wounds. And then you call it bad luck. No, it is not always bad luck. A lot of the time, it is an unread or undiscerned, a unseen pattern. Disruptors do not break your peace. They expose the structure your peace was sitting on. I'm going to say it again. Disruptors do not break your peace. They expose the structure. Let me say it like this. They expose the throne that your peace sat upon. If your peace was false, disruption will reveal it. If your identity was unstable, disruption will reveal it. If your life was built around appearance and not substance, disruption will reveal it. So stop asking this question only, right? Why is this happening to me? How many of us have asked that? Why is this happening to me? Instead of that, ask yourself this. What is this showing me about me? What is it showing me about me? So let's take a stab at re-looking at ourselves, right? So let's make this personal. Let's start with self. Because, and I know I've been talking about self already, but I like to talk about self first before we dive into other things, because we are so quick to look at other things and not self first that it's become contamination for us in our growth, right? Because if you cannot re-look at yourself, because remember the definition, the etymology of respect is to look at again. So if you cannot respect yourself or re-look at yourself, you will never really understand anything else. Most people have preferred images of themselves, the ideology of who they think they are, and not their actual self. They preferred self over their preferred self. Listen. The preferred self that I'm speaking on is the self they narrated for you to see, the self they defended in front of you, the self that they advertise on social media, the self that sounds wise in conversations, and the self that feels like they're coherent, right? But disruption has a way of introducing you to the self beneath your story, the self beneath your narrative. You thought you were patient until pressure came. You thought you were healed until you got triggered. You thought you were confident until you got ignored. You thought you were loving until somebody said no to you. You thought you were disciplined until nobody was watching. Disruption is often the test environment that reveals the truth for your formation. I'm going to say that again. Why do I keep doing this to myself and to y'all? I don't know. That's why they call me Mr. CHOO on that. Disruption is often the test environment that reveals the truth of your formation. That is why some people hate adversity so much. It does not just hurt them, it exposes them. And if you're going to grow, you have to learn how to sit in that exposure without collapsing, without denial, without performance, without turning self-awareness into self-hatred, right? Respect yourself enough to look again. Look again at your patterns. Look again at what keeps reoccurring. Look again at the kind of people you attract. Look again at what you excuse. Look again at what you keep abandoning according to your own standards. Look again at the moments where your emotions hijack your logic. Look again at the stories you tell to protect your ego. Some of us are not stuck because life is unfair. Some of us are stuck because we keep refusing to look again. That second look, that look again, is painful because it threatens our self-made image. But it also is freeing because it introduces you into reality. Listen, remember earlier I said that disruption is almost like the revelation or the thing you need for awakening, enlightenment, right? In reality, even when painful, is more useful than a fantasy. Now, let's take re-looking at relationships. Let's take re-looking at relationships. Let's talk about it. Because relationships is one of the biggest classrooms for disruption. Relationships do not just reveal who the other person is, they reveal who you are in proximity to someone else. They reveal your expectations, your attachment style, your boundaries, your fantasies, your fears, and your tolerance for confusion. Listen, a lot of people say, I just want respect, right? That's what a lot of people say. I just want respect. But what they often mean is, I want you to mirror my desired self-image back to me. That is not always respect, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes that is emotional dependence. Sometimes that is validation hunger. And sometimes that is insecurity asking for applause. Respect in relationship means looking again, not just at the other person, but at the dynamic of the relationship. How did we get here? What pattern keeps repeating? What was visible earlier that I actually minimized? What did I excuse because I wanted the relationship more than the truth? Oh man. What did I ignore because chemistry was louder than clarity? A disruptor in a relationship could be a fight. It could be distance. It could be dishonesty. It could be unmet expectations. It could be betrayal. It could be a season where things suddenly feel different. And again, the disruptor may be painful, but the deeper work is asking what the disruptor is revealing. Is it exposing your poor communication? Is it exposing your unresolved trauma? Is it exposing your one-sided effort? Is it exposing that the relationship was held together by convenience rather than principle? Listen, some people do not lose relationships because of the other person's change. Some lose relationships because disruption exposed what was always fragile. Let me say this. You cannot build a stable bond on unstable principles. You cannot build deep intimacy on image management. You cannot build trust where truth is consistently postponed. Wow. This is why principle over personality matters, because personalities can attract, but principles is what sustains. Personalities can charm, but principle is what keeps a person honest. Personality can make the first impression, but principle determines whether the relationship can survive disruption. Oh, I'm not done though. I'm not just going to talk about your relationship with your significant others. Let's dive into some friendships. Let's re-look at some friendships, right? Because friendships are often where patterns hide in plain sight. A friendship can feel familiar and still be unhealthy. A friendship can feel loyal and still be built on mutual dysfunction. A friendship can feel deep and still be dependent on roles that keep both people from growing. Some friendships only work as long as you stay small. Some friendships only work as long as you keep entertaining people. Some friendships only work as long as you do not evolve. And some friendships only work as long as you never confront the truth. So what does disruption look like in a friendship? It may be silence when you need support. It may be envy when you begin to grow. It may be jokes that carry hidden contempt. It may be distance when you stop performing your old role. It may be conflict that reveals the friendship was built on convenience, history, or emotional dependency rather than mutual principle. And again, the disruptor is not always the whole problem. Sometimes it is the revealing moment, the signal, the awakening that you need. Relook at your friendships. And I want you to ask yourself this: who only likes me when I'm useful? Who only likes me when I'm wounded? Who only likes me when I'm accessible but not accountable? Who honors my growth? Who tells me the truth? Who has the courage to disrupt me for my good? Let that marinate. Because not all disruptors are your enemies. In fact, some of your disruptors are actually gifts. Some people love you enough to interrupt your self-deception. Some people care enough to disturb your performance. And some people respect you enough, listen, to refuse your false narrative. Do not confuse comfort with loyalty, and do not confuse challenge with disloyalty. Sometimes the friend who disrupted your illusion respected you more than the friend who kept clapping while you were in self-destruction mode. Oh, man. I hope you're getting something from this, right? I know you come to podcasts and radio shows for entertainment, but it's time for you to come to actually glean and learn something, right? Let's relook at your job or your work life. Because jobs disrupt people in ways they do not expect. Let's just be honest. Some of you sitting on your job right now, and this joint is disrupting you. And a job is not just a place you earn money. A job is often a mirror. It reveals what you tolerate for security. Oh my God, I'm going to say that again. Your job could be your mirror. It could be the very thing you need to look at to see, or for you to be shown that you tolerate this job for security. It reveals what you tolerate for security. It reveals what you sacrifice for status. It reveals whether your identity is attached to a title, paycheck, routine, validation, or purpose. Right? A lot of people do not hate their jobs because of the work itself. They hate the disruption the job creates inside of them. The exhaustion, the resentment, the numbness, the feeling that they are portraying themselves daily for a version of safety. But again, do not stop at the disruptor. Do not only say, this job is stressing me out. Ask yourself a deeper question. What is this job exposing in me? How is it exposed that I never, let me say it like this. Not how has it exposed. Has it ever exposed that I never built a life outside of my external approval? Some of you are performing for your boss. And I'm not just talking about what you were hired to do, your job description. Some of you are going above and beyond because you are seeking that external approval from your boss, who at the end of the day, if you were to leave this job or something was to happen to you, will replace you in a heartbeat. Anyway, so has it exposed that you never built a life outside of external approval? Has it exposed that you confuse employment with identity? Has it exposed that you have talent but no boundaries? Has it exposed that I keep choosing environments that... But again, do not stop at the disruptor. Do not only say, this job is stressing me out. Ask the deeper questions. What is this job exposing in me? Has it exposed that I never built a life outside of external approval? Confuse employment with identity? That I have talent but no boundaries? That I keep choosing environments that reward my wounds but punish my principles? Some people keep ending up in the same toxic work dynamic because the deeper pattern has not been examined. They say yes too quickly, they ignore red flags, they overperform for acceptance, they attach worth to usefulness, they confuse being needed with being valued. That is why respect matters at work as well. Look again. What did you miss? What have you normalized? What role do you keep playing? What truth have you delayed because you're afraid disruption will cost you too much? Sometimes disruption at work is not just telling you to leave. Sometimes it's telling you to rebuild your inner architecture, to stop making survival your only strategy, to stop letting fear negotiate your values, and to stop being impressed by titles when your spirit is collapsing. Listen, I want to take a quick 2.2. Got to pay some bills. And when we come back, I want to show you how to recognize patterns, how to read disruptions and disruptors in real time, and how to survive the shaking without losing yourself. This is Randy CHOO, aka Mr. CHOO on that. I'm going to take a quick 2.2. And when we come back, we shall commence with said conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Randy CHOO, aka Mr. CHOO on that, and we are back. And this is Re-Spect. Re-Spect. And now I want to move from diagnosis to discernment, right? We laid out some things earlier for you to relook at, to diagnose, so to speak, right? And so we're going to move from those diagnosis to discernment. How do you actually see the patterns? How do you detect disruptors before they destroy everything? How do you become more literate in reality? So how do you see patterns and disruptors? Number one, patterns repeat where principles are absent. Listen. Patterns repeat where principles are absent. If you do not have clear principles, life will keep teaching you the same lessons through different faces. Different jobs, same manipulation. Different partner, same confusion. Different friends group, same betrayals. Different city, same emptiness. Why? Because what you call a new chapter is often the same pattern wearing a different outfit. Wow. Number two, we're going to track emotional recurrence, right? What keeps triggering the same emotional collapse in you? What keeps making you feel small, frantic, unseen, disposable, or enraged? Your reoccurring emotional states are actually clues. Listen, they are not always facts, but they are always signals. And if that same type of situation keeps producing the same reaction, there's a pattern worth studying. Number three, pay attention to what you keep rationalizing, right? Us as people are brilliant at explaining away what we do not want to confront. Think about it like this. Do you hear yourself saying, maybe it's not that bad? That's just how they are. I can handle it. I'm just probably overthinking it, right? We do that. We say, oh, I'm just probably overthinking it. But in all actuality, you may be witnessing your own resistance to the truth. Man, number four. Watch for cost without growth. Ooh, watch for the cost without growth. Everything costs something. But if a relationship, friendship, or job keeps draining you without deepening you, that in itself is a signal. If the cost is high, but the formation is low, something is off. Number five, notice where truth only arrives through crisis. This is key. If you only become honest after breakdown, betrayal, after burnout, after confrontation, then you need to strengthen your everyday discernment, because mature people do not wait for catastrophe to tell the truth. Oh, man. They build lives that can detect signals early. Number six, study your role in the pattern. Do not just identify the external disruptor. Listen. Identify the internal position you keep taking. Are you always rescuing, chasing, avoiding, proving, minimizing, or tolerating what your spirit has already rejected? Patterns survive through participation. I'm going to say that again. Patterns survive through participation. You do not have to be the cause of a pattern to be participating in said pattern. I know that's a heavy truth, but I hope it's a liberating one for you, right? Because what you can see you can interrupt. So, why do we even need external disruptors to awaken us to the reality that we live in, right? What is the need for that? And this is where I get to the heart of this episode. This is where we need external disruptors, because most people do not wake up through comfort. They wake up through interruption. Comfort can put you to sleep. Routine can sedate you. Familiarity can blind you. Performance can hide truth, and self-image can become a prison. So what does life do? It sends disruption. A conversation you did not want. A betrayal you did not expect. A loss you did not plan for. A disappointment that shakes your assumptions. A season where what used to work no longer works. And all of a sudden, you are forced to re-look. You are forced to question. You are forced to examine. You are forced to confront the possibility that your old way of seeing was incomplete. Wow. External disruptors are often mercy in rough form. They do not feel merciful. They do not arrive gently. They do not usually flatter our ego, but they interrupt our illusions, because illusions are expensive. They're very, very expensive. A disruptor may be painful, but blindness is more expensive. A disruptor may offend your pride, but guess what? Self-deception will bankrupt your future. A disruptor may shake your comfort, but unreality will sabotage your life. Do not curse every disruption. Some of it is trying to wake you up. And again, this does not mean that every painful event is good. It does mean every painful event can become instructive if you have the maturity to read it as such. And that, my friend, is the difference. So let me say it like this. Principles have to be over personalities. Because without this, you will always be in survival mode. And how do you survive disruptors? How do you stay stable when life is shaking? How do you avoid becoming reactive, bitter, cynical, impulsive, or self-destructive, right? You survive by building a principle over personality mindset. I touched on this at the beginning of the show. Personality is how you feel. Principle is what you stand on. Personality is mood-based. Principle is value-based. Personality changes with charisma, chemistry, pressure, preference, and ego. Principle remains when emotions are extremely loud. If your life is personality driven, then whoever charms you can lead you. Whoever offends you can control you. Whoever flatters you can deceive you. Whoever disrupts you can destabilize you. But when your life is principle driven, and listen to me closely, when your life is principle driven, you become harder to manipulate, because now you have standards that do not move just because your emotions are moved. So what are principles? Truth over image, integrity over convenience, clarity over chemistry, discipline over impulse, reality over fantasy, stewardship over ego, growth over comfort. Principles help you survive disruptors because they give you something deeper than your preference. They give you an anchor, so when the job shakes, you do not panic because your whole identity was not sitting in the title. When the relationships shake, you don't lose yourself. Why? Because your standard was never just the chemistry. When friends disappoint you, you grieve honestly, but you do not collapse into chaos because your center was not built on their approval. Principles do not remove pain. They organize your response to the pain. I'm going to say it again because it sounded good. Principles do not remove the pain. They organize your pain. Got it? Got it. Dope. And that is what maturity is. Not the absence of disruption. The ability to remain governed through disruption. So let me make this practical. Right? If this episode is going to help you, it cannot just sound deep. It has to become usable. So let me give you some practices, right? Number one, what I want you to do, wherever you're at, name your disruptor without worshiping it. Do not dramatize it. Number one, name your disruptor without worshiping it. Do not dramatize it. Do not deny it. Just name it. What happened, what changed, what got exposed. Write it down. Number two, ask signal questions, right? Like, what is this showing me? What pattern does this connect to? What does this interrupt inside of me? What truth have I been postponing this entire time? Number three, separate from interpretation. Something happened. Then you told a story about what it meant. Challenge that story. Re-look at the interpretation and do not confuse your first explanation with the final truth. And lastly, number four, identify the principle being tested. Is it exposing weak boundaries, weak self-worth, fear of being betrayed? If this is what it's doing to you, my friend, I need you to write it down. Listen. No, I said a lot this episode. I know it can be challenging to listen to this, but I just don't want you to be entertained by CHOO on That show. I want you to not only be entertained, but to be challenged to grow into the person that you're supposed to be according to how you vision yourself becoming. And if I cannot help you achieve that, then I have no point in doing the show. The whole premise of my show is to make you chew on the topics. And today's show was about Re-Spect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Re-Spect. It's not just giving honor. It's learning how to look again, to look deeper, and regard rightly. Listen, this is your boy, Randy CHOO, a.k.a. Mr. CHOO on That. I am here with you every single Thursday at noon on the Block 105 Radio. I'm also live on YouTube at CHOO Radio Network. So go there, subscribe, like, comment on my YouTube channel. I'm there streaming the shows on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Participate with me. Comment in there. Holla at your boy. Let me know how this episodes and these shows are really helping you out. Or send me some challenges. But listen, you can like it, you can love it. But one thing for sure, you're definitely going to have to chew on this topic. It's your boy Randy Chew, man. Deuces!
Chew on that. We dug in deep, now let it breathe. Take what you need, leave what you do not. Real talk, real issues, no sleep. Truth in the tone, it hit or it did not. If it made you pause, that is a good sign. If it made you think, let it change your mind. Do not just scroll, do not just react. Sit with the weight, then move with the fact. Chew on that. We said what we said, now build on that. You need to digest this, do not rush back. Take it to your life, let it work like that. Real talk, real issues, that is the track. If you felt that truth, you know where we at. Till next time, yeah, chew on that. Follow the movement, subscribe, tap in, we back soon. Chew on that.